column 5 the costs, and you have total economic profit or loss. Just by going down a list, you see, well, profits are maximized when we're making 9 units, and we have profits of $2.99, which is maximum. It's pretty straightforward. Graphically, what we've got is something like this. We have a total revenue line here. Now we have a total cost function that again has that number of snake-like look. It goes like that. This would be total cost. Total cost, total revenue here. Profits are going to be maximized where we have the greatest vertical distance between total cost and total revenue. So we're looking for the greatest vertical distance. And again, remember what this is. This is total revenue. The bottom line is total cost. So we're looking for this area in here is all area of what? Profit. And the amount of profit is the vertical distance, so what we want to do is look for the largest vertical distance between these two lines. And wherever the largest vertical distance is, that's where we're maximizing profits. That's the $2.99. Question. What if we have a different one? And let me do my average variable costs. Those will be variable costs. And this will be total costs. And then I'm going to draw revenue through there. Let's see if it's total revenue. Will I produce here? We know this is a short run because I distinguish between variable and total costs. This is always the short run. Yeah. Where am I gonna produce?
Where variable cost is total receipts. Where it crosses from then on.
Variable costs? Oh, okay, any place up here.
Right.
Now let's make the line up here. Yeah, but specifically where? Which cost? Okay. It will be, although, yeah, it'll be the greatest distance. Although really, what you should be doing is thinking of this. What you want to do is you want to minimize losses, right? So what you want to do is you want to minimize this total. You know we're losing money, right? Because there's no place where total revenue is above total cost. So there's no place that you're going to make money, right? So what you want to do is you want to minimize this total cost minus total revenue, right? This total, and I've done this backwards because this is going to give us a loss. So what you want to do is you want to have, when you subtract total cost minus total revenue, you want that number to be the smallest. You want to minimize losses. Okay. I mean, the answer you gave me is correct, but I'd like you to approach it from a different way. So really, it's not that you're looking for the greatest distance between variable cost and total revenue. What are you really looking for? Okay, the smallest distance between total costs and total revenue. Okay, so the smallest vertical distance. Now, of course, since these happen to be the same distance, this smallest distance here will also be at a point where this is the largest. Right? But again, conceptually, what you should be thinking of in turn is, what I want to do is I want to minimize losses, and the losses I'm minimizing is the difference between my total revenue and my total costs. Now, the reason I'm willing to produce here is because I am at least, any place above here, I am at least covering my variable costs. I'm covering all of my variable costs, plus I'm making some contribution towards fixed costs. See, my only other alternative is to shut down. If I shut down, I'm going to lose all my fixed costs. That's $100. But what this is saying is I can cover all my variable costs, plus I can make some dent into that $100 of fixed costs. If you look on page 496, they give us a table of that. Okay, it's the same problem, except what happens here is they've reduced the product price from $131 to $81. Now notice that $81, if they drop the product price to $81, the cost numbers are all the same as it was in the previous page. So fixed costs, variable costs, total costs are the same, those don't change. But the price dropped from $131 to $81. There's no place that they're making a profit. However, if they do continue to produce 6 units, they will only lose $64, as opposed to if they shut down, of course, they'll lose $100. So they're covering their variable, plus they're, like I said, making some contribution towards fixed. Again, not making any money, but minimizing losses. Okay. The last one then is, let's say I've got something like this. I've got variable costs, I've got total costs, and I have total revenue. And if that's my situation, what do I do? Okay, shut down. Because this is my total cost. Not only am I losing my fixed costs here, but I'm not even able to cover my variable costs. So at this point, I shut down. I don't go out of business. The idea is that I need some time for the market to come back, or I need to build a new factory or modernize or whatever it is. But in between now and when I complete my reorganization or build my new factory, whatever, it's going to be cheaper for me to just shut down than to continue production. Okay, and that's given also at the bottom of page 496 in column 7, 8, and 9. What they do is, again, they take the same numbers, except they reduce the price from $81 down to $71. And when it's $71, you can see that, again, they're losing money at every level of production, and the place where they're losing the least amount of money is when they're simply not producing anything. So they shut down production, and they minimize their losses at fixed costs. Questions? Okay, now, there is another way, and actually it's an easier way of determining profit maximizing output. Everybody knows what average variable cost is, average total costs, average fixed costs are, and what the marginal cost is, marginal revenue. Okay, is there anybody who doesn't know what those mean? If you don't, please. Especially marginal revenue and marginal cost. Okay, the other way of looking at profit maximizing or loss minimizing is what's called the marginal revenue marginal cost approach. MR equals MC, actually, I'll put it equal to, should be greater. Okay, here's what the marginal revenue, marginal cost approach is. And that is one, produce as long as marginal revenue is greater than or equal to marginal cost. Produce as long as marginal revenue is greater than or equal to marginal cost. Secondly, you have to produce as long as price is greater than or equal to average total cost. Average variable cost. Right. Now we just went over this, right? You produce as long as price is greater than average variable cost. If it's not, then you just simply shut down. So we'll start with number 2. Any questions on that? And that simply says, hey, if your price doesn't even cover your variable costs, shut down until you can reorganize or whatever. Okay, but the real nuts and bolts is this. You produce as long as marginal revenue is greater than or equal to marginal cost. We're going to use this a lot. So, marginal revenue greater than or equal to marginal cost. I need you to really understand this rule. What this is saying, and it's completely logical. It says, what you do is, every time you want to increase production, what you simply do is you say, okay, I want to build one more. Now, if I build one more car, how much does this car add to costs? And how much does it add to sales? And if it adds more to sales than it does to costs, then I produce one more car. Okay, now, okay, I produce it now. Should I build another car? Well, how much does it add to costs? And how much does it add to revenue? And if it adds more to revenue than cost, then I produce another car. And I keep doing this. Every time I keep asking the question, how much does it add to my cost? How much does it add to my sales? How much is that? And as long as it continually adds more, each one adds more to sales or to revenue than it adds to cost, I continue to produce. And I'll do it right up to the point, let's say, where I say, how much does it add? Well, one more car, it's going to cost me $10,000 to build another car, and I'm going to get $10,000 to sell it. Okay, well, we'll do it. We're not making any money, we're not losing any money. It's a coin toss. But as soon as I step up above that point and I say, well, if I build one more car, it's going to cost me $10,000 to build the car, and I'm going to sell it for $9,800, then you say, well, step back, right? Because that one extra car, I'm going to start losing money on. And that's what this is simply saying. It's saying, look, you follow this process of saying, if I do one more, am I going to make more money off of it than it costs me? And I continue that right up to the point where it's equal. And when it's equal, that's where I am maximizing profits. Because anytime it's greater, I'm adding to profits, right? Anytime marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, I'm adding to profits. So as long as it's greater, I keep producing, I'm maximizing profits. Up until the point it's equal. When it's equal, then I stop. Because I assume after it's equal, that means it's going to start going negative. I'm going to start losing money on additional units. Okay, if you look at page 498, the profit maximizing output for a purely competitive firm, marginal revenue equals marginal cost approach. Now, what you're given, ignore column 7 for a minute, whatever. What you want to do is you want to compare column 5 to column 6. And using the marginal revenue, marginal cost approach, you're simply going down and you're going to find the last place where marginal revenue is greater than or equal to marginal cost. And so, we start at the top, and 131 is greater than 90, we'll produce 1. 131 is greater than 80. 131 is greater than 70. 131 is greater than 60. 131 is greater than 70. 131 is greater than 80. 131 is greater than 90. 131 is greater than 110. That's fine. We'll produce 8. Now, what happens if we produce the 9th one? 131 is greater than 130. That's fine. We'll produce the 9th one. What happens if we produce the 10th one? Whoops, if we produce the 10th one, we'll get $131 for it, and it'll cost us $150. So the last place where marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost is at 9 units. Okay. Which, if we go over now to column 7, we'll see is at $299. Any questions? Okay. Turn to the next page, page 500. Remember, this is the same example, just we're working marginal revenue, marginal cost. In column 6 on page 500, they take the price down to $81. And again, okay, you have to sort of ignore the first number because that's sort of the hook at the top. Otherwise, you'd shut down right away. But starting with the second unit, 81 is greater than 80. 81 is greater than 70. I'm comparing columns 6 and 5. 81 is greater than 70. 81 is greater than 60. 81 is greater than 70. Okay, we'll produce 5. 81 is greater than 80. We'll produce 6. If we produce 7, it's going to cost us $90. We're only going to get $81. So we stop production at 6. Now again, if you go over to column 7, notice we're losing money, but that is the point at which we're minimizing losses. So it can also give you not just profit maximizing, but loss minimizing. Now if we go over to column 8, where it's $71, here we run into this problem here. In no place is the price greater than the average total cost. Excuse me, average variable cost. So our price is $71, and the lowest average variable cost is $74. So we shut down. Questions?
I think we're pretty much out of time today.
Actually, we've made pretty good headway here. Like I said, the thing of these 4 chapters here is to work your way and understand through chapter 25, and then the next, especially the next 3, go very fast after that. We should zip through that. So I would anticipate, about a month from now, when we come back? Is this like the 17th or something? Yeah. Just about a month. We'll start off with a short test, just over what I covered today, which would be 23, 24, and this little bit of 25 that I've done. We'll try and keep it short so we get more material. Any questions? Oh, I need volunteers for snacks. Somebody else? Okay, we have 2 people. And I think that's it. Have a very Christmas.
Finish them off for you.
Already all of it.
I'll probably throw it away.